What's up, YouTube? It's Artisan MC, and today I'm going to react to Andor Episode 5, The Axe Forgets. Now, I'm kind of irritated with this episode. Not that I'm disliking the show, but for as you just saw, I stayed up late to watch this. And what I got was a filler episode. Not really happy about that. Now, I'm tired, and so I'm going to try to keep my anger at bay. But I was all set for a heist. I got more lead up to a heist, but not a heist. So that's disappointing because I was looking forward to a heist. And if they would have given me a heist in this episode, then it would have kept going with the momentum. The show would have kept going with the momentum it gained from episode 3 to 4. Excuse me. But it didn't do that, it slowed things down. Now, in a 12 episode show, I don't see why you need to slow things down at episode 5. I don't. Now, I understand what I think they were trying to do in this episode, which is to build the tension, build the drama, flesh out the rest of these characters, these supporting characters around Andor and Luthen and Mon Mothma to let you know what their situation is, but I could have got that somewhere else. I could have. Now, excuse me. My thinking is this is supposed to play larger into the drama that goes on around the heist and how after the heist happens, the fallout and everybody who's touched by the fallout. That's my guess of what is happening. But even that doesn't dissuade me from the fact that I did not get a heist in this episode, and now I'm disappointed. Now, I'll make an equivalency, but it's not a direct parallel. But this is similar to She Hulk teasing Daredevil, and then the next episode you got was a wedding and no Daredevil to be seen. This, excuse me, this in some sense must be a Disney play. And the only reason I say this is because both of these shows are on Disney. One being Marvel, one being Star Wars, which we know is the biggest sore spot for Disney right now, where it tries to make its money off these franchises that they brought in to appeal to young boys and men. And they've done nothing but feminize it to turn it into something you can barely recognize and young boys and men don't like in the vast majority. So this is a little disappointing in that same way that She Hulk was, but not to the same level. Not to the same level at all. But it was still there. So, what can I say about this episode? This episode, you get. Sorry. This episode, you get backstory on every character that's been introduced so far, except for Bix. Other than that, everybody gets some backstory. You see Luthen before the show goes off in his secret communications trying to contact the team that's going to pull the heist. And his assistant handling him and telling him to get off those comms and basically leave. It'll be what it'll be. Okay. The other part that was kind of messed up is that Val and what's her name? Sita travel with the party to their camp right near the dam, and then they peace out. They got a mission to do in the dark. Now, this struck me a bit foul because all this tough talk and being a leader and shit like that, and she's not even there for the heist. So that makes me think she's either a plant or this is where all the heavy lifting is going to be, and these guys are being left to get killed. That's what's happening. They're being left to die. And that, like Black Widow in Winter Soldier, they have their mission, but she has a different one. She's going after something different with these guys serving as a distraction so she can complete that. Similar to Winter Soldier. Now, the reason why I'm picking up this parody vibe is there is some KK involvement in this movie or this show. And we already know from her track history, she doesn't do anything original. Everything she does is stolen from other people. So if I'm looking at this and seeing a scene that reminds me of Captain America, Winter Soldier, what do I think the payoff is going to be? The double cross? This is some convenient for women shit that these dudes are probably going to get dead. Because if you look at who's on the team, you got the star of the show, Andor, who's Latino. He ain't dying. You got Timmick, who's in charge now. It's a big black dude with a shitty haircut. You got Skeen, who's an ex-convict and kind of paranoid. Then you got Neek, whatever his name is, who's a young kid with high functioning brain. They getting set up to get killed. To me, they're getting set up to get killed. Wow. Val and Sita, the white woman and the Arab woman, go off to do something else more important instead of being a sacrificial lamb. Now, this flies in the face of all that shit she was talking about training for this and all the rest of this for so many months to get down to right before you go in, you're going somewhere else. That make you a plant to me, but whatever. Now, excuse me. The episode opens up with Andor in his bunk, waking up and realizing his pack is gone. And with his pack is gone, he goes outside to find it, and he runs into Skeen, who was just sitting there with all his stuff laid out, all Andor's stuff from his pack laid out on the little rug, and their dialogue starts. Now, Skeen is portrayed as a tough guy, but buying it, not buying it. Now, the conversation he and Andor have about the contents of his bag and really trying to feel him out and understand that Andor knows what the tattoos on Skeen's body mean, that they're basically from other prison gangs or whatever. That in itself is kind of interesting, but it sets Skeen up to be the cipher of this shit. That it gets him looking like if something goes halfway hinky, he's going to be flipping on everybody. Okay. Now, one of the things I've heard people talk about in this from a couple episodes ago was the shitty tech that Timmy was standing up there with an M16, or not an M16, but an HK, an AK-47. It's like, sorry, I'm mixing up my weapons. Now, in this episode, they actually end up pulling up, I guess it was a scouting device, so you can find your way that was not tied to Imperial technology. And basically, the motherfucker was a Polaroid camera. That's what it was. It was a Polaroid camera with some attachments on top of it. Now, that's bothering me. It's like, okay. Were you doing this movie in secret? Didn't have the budget? I don't know. Now, you get a lot of exposition from Nimik. I think that's his name. I wrote it down. Whatever. The young kid who built the models and stuff like that. And you see that he is just an info dump. He dumps a lot of information in quick succession, and I think it's because they probably gave him too many lines in this part. They could have spread those lines around to other people. But he's the one doing most of the talking in this scene by the campfire. He just running down shit, and you may not catch all of it. It almost sounds like gobbledygook. Now, while they're sitting around this campfire because everybody's waking up for the day, Ski tells Andor, who's checking out some of the other people in the camp, he tells them a little bit on each person, what they are. And one of his things that he says is that Sunita is probably the scariest, weirdest of all of them because she is quiet and ruthless. I'm like, way to pump up this one character named did shit but wrap a bandage somebody's arm. She ain't even trained him to go on this fucking mission, so she can't be that damn badass. Because I don't know a situation where you want all your badass people not on the actual mission. I don't know how that works. But while Andor's sitting there looking at her and then looking at Val coming out the tent, Skeen tells him that, oh no, they share a blanket. Meaning they're lesbians. Which, what the fuck ever? What the fuck ever? Galaxy far, far away needs that shit? Oh, God. I don't care. I really don't care. You know, Jabba the Hutt had a kid. It never crossed my mind to think about how the fuck did a fat slug get another fat slug pregnant and what the birth and mating practices were of Hutts. I never gave a fuck. I don't. So I really don't give a shit right now that this character Val in the rebellion may be a lesbian. I don't give a fuck. Why is that even in there? This is feeling more like a contrived episode. The more I'm talking about it right now, it's feeling like a contrived episode. That this was somebody's getting their way over at Lucasfilm. And if you know who I'm talking about, that's what I think it was. This was her getting her way in this show. And that's why this episode 5 is fucking filler and got some stuff in it that looks ridiculous. It slows down the whole story when we should be right to the action, right to the heist. But no, we got to slow down and introduce all this other shit that don't matter. So this episode ends up functioning like an info dump to tell you a little about each one of these characters. I didn't give a fuck. I don't care to know all these characters. They can be like the ones in Rogue One and die after the mission. I don't care. I know one person is important on the show, which is Andor. Val, you're going to try to play up because she's the woman. And she's the Caucasian woman, so that makes it all right because it's all white. Okay, fine. I will say something for this actress. She growing on me. She got a sexy smirk on all her fucking pictures online. I like that shit. That shit, it works for me. It does. I'm sorry. It does. It's like, yeah, she weird. The girl has no name yet, but she will. A girl has no name. So I didn't care about that shit. You get more information on why everybody else on the heist party is actually here on this mission fighting against the Empire. And Skeen kind of gets offended by the fact that Andor don't have a story to show. You don't believe him. Now you get more distrust with Andor from the rest of the crew, and they haven't been there but a day or so. But you find out something pertinent. They call Andor to the tent, Timmick and Val, and they sit there and ask him how will he reduce the weight on this ship they're supposed to fly out of there, because it may be suspended on a track and not just sitting on the ground. But they don't know. That was one of the pertinent things they didn't bother to ask Lieutenant Gorin, who is in there every day. He didn't bother to mention that. That makes him grossly incompetent and undermines the success of the heist mission. Now, Andor tells them what they need to know, but he's all pissed off. And he spends a lot of time in this movie just pissed off, making crazy faces at people that make him look like he don't know how to fucking emote. But the rest of the stuff is just silly backbiting. It eventually leads to the point where people are doing the heist are in position. Like I said, Valentina traipses off somewhere else, I guess, to share muffins. I don't know. But it's on a holding pattern until the next episode at this point. Now, the other story that popped up is Lieutenant Karn, right? How he has been demoted, I guess. I don't know. And he is back on Coruscant at his mom's house. And sitting there all bummed, like happens when you lose a job. If you never have, knock on wood, you will. He is back at home in his old room, and it's kind of crushing him. He's kind of demoralized from that job loss. And so she's making him breakfast, and she pours him a big bowl of blue milk and Cocoa Puffs. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like brown and blue Cocoa Puffs. And I'm sitting there looking at it like, you couldn't get Captain Crunch? What the fuck? What is this? Fruit Loops? Anyway. He pours a cereal that is immediately recognizable with me as something I have eaten before. Cocoa Puffs with blue raspberry on it. Like, oh, Jesus. Wonder what that tastes like with that blue fucking milk. I guess that's supposed to be an Easter egg for everybody to get excited about. Look, they had blue milk, and this is the blue milk from Last Jedi that Luke Skywalker was squeezing from that creature's titty, and this is what that creature's name. Stop. Fucking stop. Now, Karn being back home with his mother, you get the understanding of the relationship between he and his mother. He left and wasn't coming back. That's my thinking from how the show is depicting him. He left Coruscant. He wasn't coming back. He didn't want to be there. While he told his mother he can visit, she could visit anytime, he does not have a good relationship with his mother, which I wouldn't be surprised about seeing the way this character was traipsing around in the first three. He's an asshole. He's an uptight, stick up his ass asshole. And now we know who put the stick there. His mother. Henpecking him and everything else. Now, from this conversation, this time that Karn is there with his mother, we get to find out about Uncle Harlow. It doesn't say what Uncle Harlow does, doesn't say who he is outside of Uncle Harlow, but Karn doesn't have a good vibe or rapport with him, and Mom just loves him. Okay. Uncle Harlow is probably into a syndicate. He's probably a crime figure, I'm guessing. And for what that Karn's mom goes to him for, which is to kind of suss out a job for him since he had no prospects to help him out, and Karn is resistant to this idea. This further makes me think the only thing you don't take something from people for is people who want to take something back from you. That you getting in is like BGS would say a briar patch. It's about to stick all over you. You're not getting out. I think Uncle Harlow is syndicate or some kind of crime figure. I just think he is. Can't prove it yet, but we got a whole week to think about it and try to disprove it from dialogue. Now, Karn is not happy being at home. He's not happy being on Coruscant. He's damn sure ain't happy being there with his mother. And I don't blame him because she's a little irritating to me. She is. It's like, is this the second go around with Maz Kanata? Like Jesus. Anyway, so by the time you get to what I opened this video with and getting back to some of the major characters like Luthen, they're on Coruscant trying to check the signal. Everybody's revealing stuff about themselves. So Luthen is too. He's revealing the relationship with his associate, in the art gallery, which can check him and send his ass to bed. Okay. He was a super spy a minute ago. Now he's a super simp. Now, the other person that you get in this episode is Mon Mothma and her husband, Piran. But you also have the added addition of her daughter, which I didn't catch her damn name. And you find out that the relationship with Mon Mothma and her daughter and her husband is spicy and avoided at the same time. It's spicy between her and the daughter because the daughter talks crazy to her, which even in the galaxy far, far away says mom should have probably slapped the shit out of her for talking to her that crazy and not doing what she told her to do. I have to say it, I'm black. That's just what it is. I don't like kids with attitudes. Doesn't work for me. I remember NWA. Not KWA. No. Posh that. So you find out that Mon Mothma's daughter, she, who will be unnamed, is really disrespectful, talking back to her mom and everything else. And the husband, Piran, is just sitting there drinking his tea and listening to the two of them women go back and forth and not offering any help to the other adult. Now, whereas this is played for the fact that he's just not trying to help her, the second part would be, did he need to? And I would say no. You know why? Because Mon Mothma kind of started that. And her daughter just wasn't putting up with her shit. That she is so plugged up into the rebellion's ass, she doesn't understand what's going on right in the residences. She's trying to liberate from the Empire. Lost that common touch, did we? So I didn't care too much about the reveal of Skin's past, where he had been, what gangs he had been in, or going inside the residence and seeing some stuff. I wasn't interested. It's just whatever. And that's how this episode ended. Me disappointed and just thinking, whatever the fuck. It was filler. I didn't need the filler. I really didn't. What I needed was a heist, and that's not what I got. And now I'm kind of upset about that. Will I take it out on the show? Would it change my opinion of the show? Well, not really. But I did want to see a motherfucking heist, and that was not what I saw. What else? I think I'm probably leaving out some other stuff, but I don't care at the moment. I want to go to bed. So I'm going to go ahead and end this right now. Yeah, it was it was an episode. I'm not saying it's bad. It wasn't, I guess, a bad episode. It wouldn't rank very high on the good side of the meter either, but it was an episode, so it is what it is. As long as we can get back to some stable footing on in the next episode, I'll be cool. But until that point, I'll have to have watched this and like, dude, I was hyping you up. Don't let me down like that. Don't do that. Not when I'm giving you praise. No. How would I send you more business if you keep cussing out everybody that comes towards you? I wouldn't. I'll try to lose your business. No. I'm good. So that's it for my review of Andor episode 5, The Axe Frigates. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. And I will see you all next time. Peace.